What's going on, beautiful people? It has been a huge year for the channel. I mean, we've gone from a smaller studio, well, a couple of smaller studios, into this massive one here, which isn't massive, but for me it's massive compared to what we had. Well, compared to the tiny shed as well that this all started in. We also took on board Matt, which has been massive in terms of upkeep of everything and the design of new tanks as well. Now, the studio is an ongoing process. It's never going to be done because there's always new things to come up with, new ways of designing, the layout especially. So over the last few months, there's been quite a big change in that. When I first come into the studio, I just wanted to sort of get going, get some tanks in. With so much space, I didn't really care where I placed anything. Just get building those aquariums because that's what I absolutely love to do. Now, as time went by and everything started filling up, it was pretty clear that the layout that it was in was not optimized at all. So at the moment, we've got a group of 4 4-foot tanks there, and we've got a group of 4 4-foot tanks there as well. And this has made things so much better in terms of being able to maintain the tanks, get to them, film them, all that good stuff that's required for a YouTube channel you probably wouldn't have to think about at home, to be honest. And we also added the fish wall here, which has been an absolute godsend. It's so good to have something like this that you can keep fishing when you're sort of switching things around, so you don't have to stay in buckets and things like that. And it's also perfect if you want to go and get something, or you're at the shop and you see something that you like but you haven't got a tank set up. So you've already got all these amazing aquariums running, they're all healthy, straight in, all good. And one of the first things we did as well when Matt came was I wanted to create a seating area, an area we can relax in, so it's just not go, because you're just gonna burn out if it's like that. So every day when we have lunch, we make a point of sitting down, we've got the telly behind you there, and we watch a series or some YouTube or something like that and just have some fun with it. We did have the racing seat here as well, but it was just in the way and we never really got time to play it, so I got that out. But anyway, you came here for aquariums, so let's crack on with that. Where to start? Let's start over here. So this is the Angelfish tank. I mean, we've got 2 Angelfish tanks actually, but this is the Red Devil Angelfish tank. It's also got in a massive group of cardinals and the odd normal neon tetra as well. They're all together, we didn't want to separate them. But I really love this tank because it was so different to anything else we'd actually created before. When we were building it, we had to be very conscious to not stick to the sort of normal rules. We wanted randomness, we wanted it to look like a load of sticks had just been pushed downstream in like a storm or something and just casually interlocked. So not overscaped or anything like that. Quite a few times when me and Matt were building it, we're like, no, that's too scapey. It's too scapey, don't do that. And then just sort of throw it and let it fall. And it actually just worked out so good. The best thing about it as well is that the angels seem to love it. I was a little bit worried to start with that they're just going to be hiding in and amongst everything, but that's not been the case at all. They're right at the front. I mean, angels are pretty clever fish. They have a good feeding response in most tanks, so they do know who the feeders are and they'll come to the front as well. The big boy in here, he's putting on some good size. With any group of angels, you're always going to get some that don't grow anything like as fast as the others. It's just how it works, really. But they're all very healthy and looking good. The plants themselves, I absolutely love the plants in this tank. We went for red and sort of orangey tones, and it's really coming into its own now. There's a big group of Rotala in the middle here, which is taking over a little bit. That needs a trim back, but I was just loving how it went to the surface. And as soon as it got near the lighting, Chihiros lighting this is, the WRGB2, I think, not the Pro one, just the normal one. As soon as the plants got near that surface to that light, they've just gone proper pink and red, and they just look so good up there that I can't bring myself to trim them and put them down lower again. The Ludwigias are looking fantastic. They've got such a sort of natural tone to them. But the best part of it is the bottom section. We've got some mulm over in the corner here, which I'm leaving because it's just a sort of biotopy black water without the black water look. There's loads of detail in that foreground that isn't just like scatter gravel. It's all the bits and bobs that would have fallen from the trees. We've got some crypts down here. We've got crypt flamingo, because obviously I like the way that they go pink when they grow through. And then we've also got some tiger lotus, the bright red kind, which is really starting to creep up now. It won't be long before that just starts sending some big long runners to the surface, which could look fantastic. Now, we did originally have all of the Monstera on the top there in the tank opposite, but I just didn't like how it looked. Not opposite, behind. Yeah, I didn't like how the roots looked in there, whereas in this tank, the roots go behind all the wood structure, and it's just growing amazing. There's new leaves coming off all the time. It's going to be a huge jungle in here in no time, which is awesome. I basically want to have eventually every single tank having plants just growing at the top, and then you've got like a jungle in here that I don't have to water. Every time we've had to water plants, they die because either too much water, not enough water, forgetting about them, and it's too much to take care of with the tanks, let alone house plants as well. That's like another hobby in itself, isn't it? It is just a small sort of canister filter. This is the smallest that they do. It's the Oase 250 Biomaster, and the reason that I like this one is purely because of this bit here, the pre-filter. I just find it brilliant because whenever you're starting to get a little bit more sort of misty water, you can be rest assured that it's because that pre-filter's like kind of gunked up. Clean it out, put it back in, and it's perfect again. It stops all that gunk going right into the filter, which means that you never really, well, very rarely have to go right inside the filter and clean out all the bits inside there. I've had some tanks running for like 6 months before, and then gone to take the filter apart just to make sure everything's okay. And it's completely clean inside, so yeah, really good from Oase there. And now moving on to my molly and swordtail tank. I set this up about a month ago. So I'm just doing the edit here, and I realised that I say I quite a lot. You'll have to forgive me, that's a massive force of habit. A lot of the tank, well pretty much 90% of the tanks in here, we did, me and Matt. So if I say I mean we. I do apologise, Matt, and everyone else. You spend like 4 years making videos on your own, you get into habits, you know. I set this up about a month ago, and the goal was to create a carpet quite easily, and yeah, definitely achieve that. So this is by no means what you'd call a low budget tank, but at the same time, it wasn't crazy expensive either. The tank itself is the same as the Angelfish one. It's the Aquarian from Mbuna Aquatics. It's got like nice clear glass, but it's not crazy expensive. It's good quality. It's got a really nice cabinet as well, but it's what I would call affordable to a lot of people. Obviously the term affordable is very different for different people. And the lighting as well, these goosenecks are actually sort of a budget version of a Kessel, I guess, but look, they work so well, and you cannot complain with that growth underwater, can you? So the plant is pearlweed predominantly. There's the odd little piece of Cardinala, Lobelia, sort of dotted around, Lobelia cardinala, yeah, around in amongst it, but predominantly it's pearlweed. For the first 3 weeks or so, this tank had CO2. It doesn't need to have it for pearlweed. In fact, I've turned it off for over a week now and just given this tank a trim back because it was just going crazy and I cannot keep up with that pace. What I love most about this tank is how much the fish pop against either the rock or the pearlweed itself. Sometimes blackfish can not stand out too well, but they, definitely do in this tank, don't they? So most of the swordtails have been bred in a different tank. I originally got 6 swordtails, and as you can see, we've got a huge amount now. They're brilliant fish. They breed very easy, but they look fantastic as well. Look at that. There's a male right there, nice big pointy tail, hence the name. And as I'm sure you can imagine, it was an absolute mission getting that rock in this tank. So we set up a substrate system which allowed to sort of distribute the weight. A lot of people say to use egg crate and things like that. I tend to just use bags that are full of gravel and sand, and then that acts as a cushion for it. And on top of that went a ton of Aquasaur and some Nutri-Base as well. That's pretty much it. Oh, root tabs dotted around everywhere. And then yeah, you're done, you're good to go. So not a huge amount of different components, but quite a lot of them given the size of the tank. So that's what I'm saying about, it's not crazy cost. If you had one tank in your living room and it was your hobby, then this whole setup would probably come to about $2,000, I would say, including everything, lighting, filtration, a tank. Hardscape, maybe not actually, because I paid a good $600 for the rocks themselves, which sounds crazy, doesn't it? You paid $600 for rocks. But they make it, so yeah, 2.6 then, say total, which is a lot of money, but it's a luxury item, and people spend more than that just on the tanks themselves sometimes. Now next to the molly and swordtail tank, we have got these 3 aquariums here. This one is home to some green neon tetras, which we put in a bit of I don't even know what that's called, like pampas grass, I don't know. And some devil's ivy just sort of come out the top, just to make them feel a little bit more comfortable, because I've always found that green neons are quite shy. I'm standing quite far back here and got a good zoom going on. But yeah, just an interesting little tank. I'm probably gonna switch it up soon, but they seem a lot more comfortable in there now with that cover. And to be honest, it's very sort of naturalistic in a way for the sort of areas that they'll be living in a river. And the middle tank, currently empty, but that is going to be a full that's right, isn't it? Anemone tank. Like, it's just going to have lots and lots of anemones only, and rock obviously as well, but it should look fantastic when it's done. And then this tank here is our saltwater tank. So yeah, we've had this going for just over a month now. It's already got a couple of corals in it, which I'll show you in a second that they're doing so well. There's copepods covering the whole front glass, and that shows really that the tank is maturing really well, because they wouldn't be there otherwise. Shortly there's going to be a new update video. We're going to be adding lots more to the tank, including fish as well. But at the moment, look, we're a little bit misty. That's okay. It's just because like life is trying to happen. The bacteria is trying to sort of colonize, then it sort of dies off and then colonizes, just because there's no real sort of food source for it. But look at that mushroom there, the green mushroom. It's already growing massively bigger than we first got it. You can sort of see it looping over the back end there, and at the front it's sort of swelling, if you like. None of that growth was there when we first got it. And then just behind the mushroom up here, you can see we have got some red zoas growing really nicely. There's baby ones have sprouted off already. It sort of broke off at one point because the hermit crabs knocked it down. So yeah, that's doing really well. And then on the other side, we have got the green zoas, look. Again, that one there you can see just sort of closed is relatively new. There wasn't anything down there at one point, but yeah, again, they're growing and I'm really pleased with that. It's a slow process, a much slower process than I'm used to with, like, you know, planted tanks, but I am enjoying the process. And you can just see, look, we've got a little snail at the back there, barely moving, but yeah, doing its clean-up thing. But yeah, progress has been slow, but you have to take it steady when you do this kind of thing. And I'm really enjoying the process and learning. So up next, we've got the Archerfish tank. Now, this has been running for quite some time now. It's doing incredibly well, as are the Archerfish. We originally started with 6. 2 of them passed away. They just sort of, they didn't eat and they just wilted and wilted. The 4 that we've got left are very strong. Sometimes this can happen. You can see it multiple times around the studio actually when you get a group of fish. The weak ones, sometimes they, for whatever reason, there's nothing that you can see that's wrong with them, but they just don't take. It's never usually like overnight, but it's just over a period of time. So here we've got 4 beautiful Archerfish, nice and thick, and they're trained as well. Here is the full setup. It is like a jungle, but a controlled one. I've been sure to keep on top of this one, making sure it didn't get too crazy. Now the pinnator feeder that you can see there is going a little nuts, but that's a very easy fix. But I quite like that sort of natural vibe that it's got to it. The Archerfish are currently sat at the back there, look, staring at us, waiting for me to feed. They know that I'm doing something. They're very clever fish. And this one's already looking upwards, look, just to see if I've attached any food, because we like to attach it to the glass so they come and spit it. I'll show you. So I usually do this with bloodworms, but I've run out of bloodworms right now. So we've got some mysis shrimp, which they've not had before, but hopefully they give it a go still. So you just place it at the top and just smear it about a bit, and they'll come along in a second and shoot that down. And then whatever's left I put in the water, and the other fish can sort of pick it up. Okay, there we go. They're now starting to spot that it's there. I'm just sat back, I'm staying nice and still. Like I say, they're used to seeing red. There we go, this one spotted it. There we go, having a little spit, falls in the water. Yum. Yeah, they're really good at it now, and that kind of proves that I can just put anything up there and they'll have a go on it. We've also got loaches as well, as you can see here. These guys are getting big now, got some nice colour to them as well. We've also got the Danios as well. They sort of tend to stay in this area, and then when it's feeding time, as you can see, they all sort of come out and go everywhere. And I also added the perch in here as well. You can just see one there. There's a group, there's 2 of them. Look at that, they look so cool. They've settled in beautifully in this tank. They've got some fantastic colours on them, and oh, Loach got in the way there. But yeah, it's been a really interesting tank. And on the top here, you can see we've got, oh, not that bright. Yeah, we've got all of these plants growing out the top as well, peace lilies and different type. I can't remember what this one's called. I'm sure you guys know. It's like a palm sort of style, but yeah, that's growing brilliantly. They're all just getting bigger. They were much smaller when I first put them in. The odd leaf dying back, but overall, yeah, really good. It's a new day.
I pressed the button on it.
Oh, did you? Hang on.
Is it working? I just pressed.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. It's a new day. Look, Matthew is here. Better.
Just
so
about.
We can both do it now. Yeah, which will be better because we both built it. Yeah, we've just been doing some maintenance before we carry on. This tank needed a bit of a water change. It's quite dusty, wasn't it, Matt? We cleaned the filter the other day. And yeah, it's basically, we'll get to it, but it's the dragonstone plus big bristle noses, just, yeah.
Yeah, it's Dusty.
Is he in?
Yeah.
Dusty, that's a new one.
That is a new one.
So here we are at the, Mbuna Cichlid tank, which was very successful.
Yeah, really good.
Because to start with, it was a bit like, will the plants survive? Won't they survive? Yeah. But they have survived. More than survived, I'd say. Like, we've got fresh leaves coming up for the Anubis all the time.
Definitely growing, aren't they?
And the fish as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. Like, you can really see some of the dominant ones, like the orange one back there.
Oh yeah, they've got chunky, haven't they? Really chunky.
Much better. Some more than others, but like you say, that's
standard. Dominance, you know, they are going to be, it's what you'd get in the wild. Some of them would grow really quickly and the less dominant ones wouldn't. And
we did have the Limnophila in there, which I've removed now because I did.
It went a bit pasty and green, didn't it? Like a weird green, though, not a nice green.
Yeah, I mean the nutrients in the substrate are non-existent, other than fish poop that works its way down there. But so that does make sense that it didn't do great. But I didn't really like the look anyway. We also had the plants that's in the Angelfish tank. They were in the back. Yeah. Which I liked the plants at the top, but the roots just didn't really. No, it looked too messy for a Mbuna tank, didn't it? It was, yeah, you needed more rock. And it's a clean look. Yeah. It's that kind of tank, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. The Cynodontis are looking cool. They're growing. Oh, yes. Back here, look. Oh, I can see one there. Oh, yeah, in there. Now that I'm filming us, when I come to film those in a minute, I probably won't be able to see them. Yeah, that'll be the case, won't it? They'll have all disappeared. But this is just going to be one of those we'll just keep feeding them, keep them getting bigger. Eventually, we're going to need to redo it, aren't we, in a way, because they'll need more space. Yeah, yeah, they'll need more sort of visual distractions from each other and breakups of the eye line sort of thing. Probably more rock work, would you say? Yeah, yeah, definitely. There seems to be enough. At the moment, they seem to be great on it, to be fair. And there's a lot of nooks and crannies that they can get in and out of, so they can sort of get away from each other. There's no aggression. It's just once they get bigger that they'll have to keep an eye on it. Out of this whole group, we've lost like one or two, haven't we? Yeah, there's not many at all. Which can happen, especially with cichlids, Mbunas, or any of the African cichlids. Well, it's any animal, you know. You look at how many did we put in here? 40, something like that? 30, 40? I can't even remember. Yeah, because it was in 2 batches, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Back and got more. Might not have been as many as that, but you know, you think of that. It's a lot of animals. So you're going to get one with possibly a defect or something like that internally that you just don't know about. Mm. What I am pleased at, though, is I was worried it was going to be a complete algae fest. Obviously, there's some green spot algae on some of the plants. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with that. But in terms of maintenance, we really don't have to do a lot, do we? No, not at all. It's been fairly chill. Like, there's none of the nasty algae, none of the hair algae, none of the like cynos, none of that sort of stuff. And I think that's down to this lighting, which is just been. It's because it's just you press the buttons, don't you? We've just brought it down to a level where it seems to be working perfectly. Yeah, you might be able to bring it down a little bit more and get rid of that green spot algae, but it's a bit of a trade-off, isn't it? Because if you do that, the colours on the fish aren't as good. Exactly. But I think we're just right. They've got real nice colours, but it's clean and it's got that sort of, I don't know, like contemporary look. Yeah. I like it. So then over at my computer desk, we have also got Timmy. Timmy? Timmy, what are you doing? Oh, there he is. Oh, we're struggling with the lighting, but here he is. There's a bit of oily surface. We just had a bit of a clean up in this tank. It does look a bit of a mess, but then it's a boggy, they love it. The turtles actually love it like this. So do the fish apparently, but this is changing. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it, but Timmy is all good. We're going to be doing a pond for Timmy hopefully soon. So we're thinking, aren't we, this little area here is perfect sort of place that we can build a pond and then put like a perspex lid on that can just come on and off whenever we want. Yep. And it means that Timmy's right there. We can enjoy him. He'll love just sat there looking at us. He can have a bit of ham sandwich for lunch and a bit of sushi. And he would love ham sandwich. Not sandwich, but the ham. Yeah. But yeah, so that's not now, but that is coming up. So we recently made this stand thing. I was going to say stand yeah, something like that. We did it over, obviously, for the fish wall, and it worked so well that I wanted to do it for the 60 centimetres as well. We wanted to. Well, that's right. I can cope with it. I won't. I'll pull you up on your off camera. I already apologised, didn't I? Yeah. Anyway, we did this. So this one was already done, and it's just been a case of leaving it. Some very interesting stuff going on with the algae at the bottom. It's a weird algae, though, isn't it? It is a strange one. The way it grows. It's like Marimo Marimo?
Yeah, Marimo.
Balls.
Marimo?
Yeah, moss balls.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's not the balls. It's an odd one, but there's so much sort of life going on in all of it.
Yeah.
That part of me's just gone, you know what, just leave it. It'd be very easy to remove, you just got to pick it up. But I quite like the sort of naturalness of it, so
The
I've let
algae
it go.
carpet.
Algae carpet, yeah.
Yeah.
Like people do that for goldfish, they like
Yeah,
that, don't they?
they
Different
do.
kind of algae though, isn't it? It's
The wavy sort of
Yeah.
nice, pretty sort of stuff. But then I don't know, this is quite green and quite nice, isn't it?
it looks natural.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just going with it and leaving it. And then we've got these two beasts here. This one is actually one of my favourite tanks in the studio. To be honest,
Really?
at the moment, yeah, I'm
Fair
really
enough.
liking it. It was so simple to do, and I liked that it was like a whole affordable unit.
Yeah.
It's your very traditional styling.
Yeah, I get you.
I think it just works really well. Again, I've not done anything to it, not even a single water change since I set it up. Babies from the guppies, clean-up crew cleaning, it's just spot on.
Yeah, it just keeps itself ticking along, doesn't it?
And that's, for me, is what like proper planted tanks should be.
Yeah.
Like the plants don't grow fast in this one either. We've got a bit of pearlweed there, which is trying to grow fast, but
Yeah.
it's okay because it's just a small amount.
And that's it, isn't it? You can keep on top of it. It's the same as the limno in the back, isn't it? The limnophilia. Is
Yeah.
that limnophilia?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's really like fine, isn't it, on this tank?
Yeah, so the closer to the light, the closer the nodes go.
Yeah, so, but yeah, even that's not growing massively fast, so you can just keep on top of it.
Yeah. And then this one here I also set up like a month ago. The idea is that I want a just full carpeted red tank, and it's really getting there. It needs shaping, but I've deliberately let it grow up to this length because now I can cut it back down again, and then I have like decent length ones to replant in certain areas. I want it banked all the way to the back with this nice tree. Yeah, it's cool. Very, very cool actually. Technically, I've now got a constant source of red plants as well.
It's a bit of a winner, isn't it?
There's loads of cherries in here. They're all breeding as well. We've seen eggs, haven't we?
Yeah, we've
That
seen
was
little
saddled.
limbs in there.
Yeah, it's not really much to look at the moment other than just a load of red. It's got CO2 on it. It's the only tank running in here at the moment with CO2. The CO2 is not required for the red, but what it does mean is it grows faster, you can have the light brighter, and you just get even more. It's just fast. But these plants would definitely still be this red without the CO2. It'd just be less of them because it's the... what's this one? Twin Star something. It's an older model, so it gives a pinky hue anyway, but it's really powerful. And I've actually brought it down closer as well, so we're getting... Look at all that purling coming off
Yeah,
there.
it's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, it needs shaping, but that is the next stage of it. And then this one we set up, before we went to America, didn't we?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
And it did have all CO2 and everything like that on there. Taking it off, and you can actually see a complete difference in the plants where when there is CO2 and when there isn't, there's less density, isn't there?
Less density. I'd say they're duller now as
Slightly
well.
duller.
They're like not as vibrant green.
Part of me is thinking though, this is actually a very old version of the Superfish light.
Yep.
I think the LEDs on this might be, it's about 4 years old.
Oh wow,
No,
yeah.
3 years old, because I got it shortly after I started talking with you.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, look at these kits, and they come with all of it. I was like, yeah, get on it. So, you know, they do have a shelf life.
I think they have upgraded them recently as well, because the lights are different now, the legs are different.
It's thicker, all that stuff. So yeah, this is an old version. I think it might be time to swap that out. But in terms of health, it's beautiful and healthy.
Yeah.
Does need, again, another little bit of a trim up, but full carpet going on. We've got the rice fish in here, obviously. They're constantly got eggs. There was some yesterday that
there
had
was
eggs.
some, yeah, and this girl here's got eggs as well.
Yeah. Not likely that babies will survive because we've got Amanos in there. Amanos are actually quite good hunters, aren't they?
Yeah,
for
they'll
babies.
find that sort of thing, especially when the eggs are dropped in amongst the plants. They'll terrorise them, unfortunately. But you never know, you might get the odd one that finds a hole somewhere that's able to survive.
If they can get to a certain size,
they'll be
past
fine.
that they're fine, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it's getting to that point. But yeah, nice and simple. Just a easy planted tank. Again, we don't do anything to it, do we?
No, that one just ticks along.
So then next to our seating area, we've got this tank. This is like a full kit that Superfish do. And it's worked out so well, hasn't it?
It's done really well, yeah.
Again, we've not done literally a single thing.
Well, I think there's a lily that would beg to differ. You did put that in there.
I put that in there because I didn't know where to put it, but it's growing nice, look.
Yeah, it's doing well.
Yeah, it's quite a nice little pop of colour in there, actually, isn't it? It doesn't look great in the pot, but I was walking past, I was like, all right, put that in there, and then when a setup comes, it'll be perfect. But a very simple scape this. We just put that nano base in the bottom, didn't we?
Yep.
Nothing underneath it. No nutrients, because the whole idea was it's just something that people could do really cheap, really, because
when someone first goes to get a tank, they're not going to want to buy, oh, I've got to get my substrate and I've got to get this and I've got this. It's very rare. Maybe their third or fourth tank once they've got into it.
Yeah.
But the idea was you can get into it with this. We've got a few pots of, we had some Bucephalandra, some Anubias and some ferns, some Bolbitis. Stick it all in.
Data feeder.
Put it to feeder, yeah.
That one's done really well in it.
And it just looks great. Effortless, we leave it. There's a colony of shrimp and we put all our babies, didn't we?
Yeah, put all our baby swordtails in.
Worried that they would be predated on, weren't we?
Yeah.
They weren't in the end, but...
No, we didn't need to. We didn't need to do it, but they can go back in at a later date. Yeah,
they're actually grown. Some of them are quite a good size now. Could probably go in with the adults. But I do quite like just having them there.
Yeah.
You know, they're happy in there.
Absolutely. Until they're way bigger, they'll be fine in there.
So that's that half behind me done, Matt. Moving on now over to this section. But before we do, this is our maintenance cart. I thought I'd show you. It's a full tour, and this is something we use every day.
Pretty much, yeah.
We got this here is like a big pipe that can very quickly take water out, but it's long enough to go everywhere in the studio and also out the door. Yeah. So then there's drains and everything out there, and it does the job really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, perfect.
I used to have like a pump.
Yes.
And all of that, but to be honest, with how thick that is, and once the gravity gets going, it's pretty much just as fast.
Oh yeah, if not faster sometimes, I think. It does drain it quickly.
It does, yeah. Like, you don't need it any faster because, you know, if it's doing it at a certain pace like we were on here, you want to be able to get in and waft stuff up and that, don't you? If it just went...
Yeah, it's gone and you're like, oh, I didn't get time to do that.
Yeah, so that works well. We've got our Hoover down here, which has got... I know it's a Hoover, I don't know how interested people are going to be, but it's got like a drain at the bottom, it's wet and dry, you unclip the top, you can just empty it out bagless, and it works really well. Recently bought that, didn't we?
Yeah.
And after me struggling with the same rubbish one for 3 years...
It was falling apart.
It was falling apart. I was like, no, it still works, it still works. Yeah. And then I got this, I was like, oh, I'm so glad we got it.
So much easier.
Yeah. So now we've got this bowl. This bowl is something that I set up months and months ago, and it's got Santa Marias in, Santa Maria Endlers, and they were teeny tiny, and that's kind of why I put them. I'm going to struggle with reflections here, but you can't really do a lot of a bowl, can you?
No, it's a hard one to film.
But yeah, we've got a full carpet down the bottom there of Monte Carlo, as you can see. That's properly sort of like mature now, and it's quite strange really, because there's not a lot of light down there, is there?
No, not a lot at all.
Because we've got some good floating plants at the top, but if you upset it too much, you might start... I don't want to play with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just we trim the plants back every now and again, and that's it.
Just let it do its thing, and it definitely has done its thing.
Yeah.
It might be time for another one soon, maybe. All the endlers that are in here, we've got males and females, they will be coming out, because I'm going to be doing a big endler tank, like a massive one with thousands of them, hopefully.
Thousands. We've got to find thousands of them, that's the problem.
That's true. I've probably got a good 100 or so, or whatever with the collection we've got.
Yeah.
But stuck in there together, they're going to breed like crazy anyway, aren't they? So, Matt's over here just filling up this vase. I thought I'd show this as well. The house plant next to it, not doing fantastic, but not our worst work.
No, it's not our best, but not our worst.
So this is the shrimp vase that I set up. We've still got shrimp in there.
Yeah, I saw a couple of babies the other day, so that was quite cool.
But this has to be filled up very regularly, and that's not from evaporation.
No.
It's from this plant, this Echinodorus plant, which was nothing like this when I put it in. It was just a little stumpy bit coming out of the top. It's sent out this massive runner, and it's basically turned into a mother plant, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And we could just trim these whenever we want and use these Echinodorus in other setups. We won't, because I quite like it, you know, just sort of trailing across everywhere. But yeah, if I ever want to do house plants that aren't in tanks, I think I just need to create little bowls for them.
Yeah.
And just use aquatic plants and let them go out the top.
Let them grow out, yeah, absolutely.
And I think it looks nice.
It's really nice.
And to be honest, this is the sort of thing at some point we could put in a setup.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, it'll take that whole section with it at the bottom, but that's fine. It'd be quite a cool tank, wouldn't it?
Would have been ideal for that tank, the new one we're doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we should get to that. Yeah, down here, you guys wouldn't have seen the video for this, but it's coming. We have done a Shelly tank down here. She's coming.
Yeah, she's here.
And then we've got plants all going at the top. Bit of an experiment. We went with Lycophycus, but not.
It's a Mandra. Ramandra.
What was the other name you said for it?
I think their common name is like China doll plant or China doll tree.
Well, either way, it's working because it's been in there for like quite a few days now. It's all still solid, nothing's dying, and that's the trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get stuff in water.
Yeah, just literally leave it in water, it'll be fine.
You can't overwater it or underwater it in water.
Yes, that's it, it's just water.
But yeah, we've got these shells and stuff going on. We're gonna have some nice shell dwellers in there, like a group of a couple of different species, yeah?
We could do a couple of different species, yeah.
Or do you reckon we should keep it all as one? It is quite a small one.
Yeah, it's quite a small one. I think it might be easier. We'll see what species we can get hold of. There are some colour forms of the same species.
Oh yeah, that's good.
But if we can find them, that's the problem. They're not very easy to come by.
But yeah, it's a nice little simple one, but we wanted something else for our seating area, and yeah, it's really nice. Right, where should we go next, Matt?
On this magical mystery tour?
Yeah.
I reckon here, yeah.
Yeah, so this, how old? 2, 3 months?
Yeah, maybe.
I reckon 3 months.
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, so we was at Riverwood Aquatics. You know when we got the
course.
rocks that are over in the carpet tank over there? We also bought this massive piece of wood.
It's not wood, it's a tree stump.
It's a tree stump, yeah. It's the whole root system of a tree or
it's
something.
literally a tree.
And when I saw it, I was like, that's an amazing piece of wood. I'd like to get something like that. And then I thought, you know what, I'm here. I have to get this.
Yeah.
We just about managed to fit it in the back of the car.
Just, yes.
I think it punctured a hole in the roof or the...
Possibly, yeah. It wasn't very healthy.
It was worth it though, because, you know, had to get it back. And it was one of those where you put it in, and that's pretty much all you can do.
Yeah, there's not much scaping that goes on around it. A few bits of rock and a few... We did cut the wood though, didn't we? We cut the bits off the back and we laid them in so it made it a bit more like coming out rather than stepping up into the tank.
I mean, we wouldn't have cut the bits of the back, but it literally couldn't fit.
Yeah, it didn't work, did it?
It pulled it right to the front, but I'm glad we did, because like you say, without those pieces of wood coming into the foreground, it did look a little bit like bang, bang.
Yeah.
That was because the plants weren't growing in as much, but they're growing in really nicely now. It's a difficult tank, to be honest. It's one of the most difficult tanks, and it has required the most maintenance, hasn't it?
Yes, by far, yeah.
And that's purely because of that dragonstone.
Yeah.
And the cigars.
The hot blows, yeah.
Yeah, and the larger bristle nose that we put in there.
I think they're just constantly kicking it up, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, then, and the blue acaras, to be fair.
Just swimming
just
in and
moving
out.
about and kicking about.
Yeah, so we've got blue acaras, we've got a royal acara. We did have more royal acaras, but after we put them in, we didn't see the other two again. I mean, they might still be in there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, but he is boss.
Yeah,
like that, you can tell he is the boss.
I'm actually
fish.
getting intimidated by him staring at me
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
a little bit scary, isn't he? Look at him.
And we recently added in the some of the red eye tetra, the lemons as well, just to
bolster up the numbers of the tetras. Yeah, exactly.
But they're settled in brilliantly. I was expecting them to be a bit like looking small compared to the cars, but they don't actually.
No, they've settled in well, and it's quite funny. The red eyes swim on their own; they keep to their own little group, and then the lemons and the candy canes seem to like shoal together, which is quite cool.
Yeah, well, it's a nice tank, and the top section's really good as well.
Yeah, that's
again, we want
cool.
more plants, don't we, coming out the top? So, brand new leaf I can see there.
Yeah, the pothos is growing really well.
It's going to find that wall, isn't it?
It is going to find that
go
wall.
off it.
Yeah.
But that'd be wicked.
And we've got a little bit of UG.
Oh, yes. Yeah, a little bit of UG. You've tried as well with the...
that was some old glossostigma that was in a pot, so we'll see what that does.
The UG is working.
Yeah, that's been in there since before America.
Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there was more, wasn't there? But that seems to be the only one that's taken.
Yeah, the other ones are still there. They're just in the back, look, on the rocks. They don't get as much light.
Light, are they?
That one's doing well because he gets more light.
Nice.
Hang on. Do you want the other thing that's going on in this tank?
What do you mean?
There's one more thing that you missed.
God, look at that beautiful red leaf. But
that is gorgeous, that red leaf, but that's not it.
There's one more thing.
There's one more thing that you've missed.
A big thing?
There are lots of little things at the moment.
Is there babies?
There's eggs.
Oh, there's eggs.
Just down on the left.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is a lot of eggs.
Isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, I need to get that on camera. I'll do the B-roll now before they all get eaten.
That's it. That'll be the next thing, as you come back and they're all gone.
Yeah, here we go. Look. Let me come right there. Look at that. Look at him just look at that. Will it be a he or she? That looks like a boy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does look like a boy. I think they share it.
How fresh are those, do you reckon, Matt? Today's?
Maybe. Yeah, there's a couple of unfertilised ones there, so... Yeah, I reckon it's soon, recent.
Okay, this will be the second time now. Hopefully, oh hello, lemon tetra. Hopefully a few of them survived. Last time, not a single one survived, but then it is a high stocking level.
Yep.
But it's way more densely planted in there now than it was, so more of a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about it though, in the wild, you wouldn't get that. Even they would have that many in the wild,
yeah,
but you wouldn't get many surviving because otherwise the rivers and the lakes would just be literally fish. There'd be no water left. It would be just blue acaras
flapping around.
Like probably every batch you only get 1 or 2 survive. I expect in the wild. I don't know what the numbers are, but there's probably not many.
No. And then up next to Matt's desk. Oh, that was hard to say actually. We've got this jungle for the angelfish. It didn't start off life as a jungle. Actually, I did plant this one quite heavy to start with, actually. But
you don't say.
Yeah, well, I like it. I still like it now.
It does look good.
There is some hardscape in there somewhere.
Yeah, you can see it coming out the top. Look at the back. That's all you can see.
But this is doing well. We've recently added some more fish to it. But in terms of the angels, I absolutely love these. They're getting nice and big now as well. There's like a group of about 8, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so, about 8 or so. I can see 5 at the front right now. So.
Yeah, and there's normally a couple.
There's normally in amongst the plants and stuff.
This is actually a great example of like hierarchy, isn't it? Because the big ones just get bigger, and then the smaller ones just sort of
stay in the back, and that's it.
We lost 3 of. Was it? There were white ones, like
the white ones. They just
never grew.
Nope. They didn't plump up. They would feed, but they just didn't get any bigger at all. So I think there was something genetics-wise going funny with them, to be honest.
Genetics in terms of they didn't do well with a parasite and the others did?
Possibly. It could be an inbreeding thing. So it could be just not a strong strain. Yeah. Obviously, the white ones are like albinos. They can be a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more sort of not as aggressive, I suppose, as the other ones. So it might have just been they got out-competed. It might have been, like you say, a parasite or something. It's hard to tell.
But I do like the plant variation in this one.
Yeah.
It's just completely random and dotted everywhere. And that's my favourite kind of plants.
Well, there's even some things we've added, like the lily down at the front. Like, there's just a few random bits and pieces that have sort of been popped in.
Do you know what I like about this lily, actually? Is it stayed there.
Yeah.
It hasn't sent up anything.
Nothing at all, which is
weird.
That,
because I want that. I want it to do that. We've got some good carpet and plants. You just added a few that were dying, didn't you?
Yeah,
just to see if they come back in there.
Exactly. There's a few sprigs of them that were sort of hanging on, so sort of tuck them in there and see what they do.
I recently gave it trim back as well, but it's already due another one.
I was going to say it needs another one, doesn't it?
If we want to keep it like tight.
I think I came in the other day and I went, you've been quite aggressive on the trimming of that, and now it's up again.
Yeah, but that's the sign of a healthy tank, so all good.
Murder beans.
The puffers. It's the puffers. It's the Amazon puffers. So this is the most recent setup, isn't it? No, other than the Shelly.
Other than the one that's not finished, yes.
Yeah. These are Amazon puffers, and they are amazing. Look they buzz so fast around, don't they?
They're great, aren't they? Yeah, boys.
So yeah, the idea with this one was sort of an Amazon puffer jungle again, planted tank, but with an open foreground. So when we got these fish, Adam said that they need a sandy area, don't they? Just because that's when they sort of wear their beaks down by going and getting the food.
They've been doing good on the mealworms though, haven't they?
Yes.
Like, surprisingly well. I didn't think that was a thing, to be honest.
Yeah, we've been feeding them mealworms. That was the advice, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Well, Adam said that was it Adam or Alex? One of the guys up at Cadbury said that they had been reading a load of research on them and that it was mostly insect in their diet rather than snails and crustaceans. This is what puffers normally eat. So, yeah, I'm guessing the shells on the insect is enough to wear their beaks down.
And some people were saying that there's too much fat, there's not enough protein and stuff, but gut load, don't we?
Yeah. So we feed them things like catfish pellets and flake foods and
the mealworms. That is.
Not these guys.
And then they eat the mealworms that's got all of the food inside of it. We probably need to get some more soon, actually, but that's lasted a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah. 2 pots has lasted us quite a while.
What was it? 3 weeks, month?
Yeah, easy, wasn't it? Yeah.
Lighting-wise, we've got a Chihiros up here, which gives it more sort of green tones and that fresh look, which really does suit these fish and the style was going for. And the filtration, again, is a Vase Biomaster. I've not really been talking about the filtration other than that first tank, and that's because basically all the big tanks have got the same.
Yeah, they all run off that.
The smaller tanks that you're seeing, well, they've got those hang on the side from Superfish. So yeah, it's all. I keep it all simple just because it works.
Oh, I forgot we've got the albino cories in here, haven't we?
Oh yeah,
I've just seen them coming through the wood there. There's one there and there's one over here as well.
Oh yeah. When I was feeding yesterday, they were doing their thing, you know?
Yeah.
Not the puffers, I mean
The dolphin.
So now on to the oldest tank that's still running?
Must be, surely.
Yeah. Because we did the beta and then this.
Yeah.
And the beta was ages ago, but
Yep.
this one is still going because it's just amazing. I think I love this. Again, a planted jungle.
There's a theme running through, isn't there?
I love it though. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, it does look good.
Fish will love it. I gave it a bit of a maintenance session at the weekend,
Yeah.
so you'll notice in Matt that there's a lot more space.
Oh yeah.
It's quite easy actually to maintain this with a dwarf sage carpet. So if you trim it with scissors, you can look a bit artificial. It looks a bit silly, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you've got like a mown lawn sort of style to it, haven't you? It's this very straight edge.
Which looks weird,
Yeah,
you don't get
can't.
straight edges in
Nope.
nature, really, do you? So I found the best way is just get handfuls and just rip.
Yeah.
Some stay a little bit longer, some stay a little bit shorter, some pull up from the root area.
I was going to say, make sure it's well rooted before doing that. You don't want to do it on a tank that's only 3 weeks old.
No,
You're
no,
like
no.
pulling
No.
all your dwarf Sagittaria out of the bottom of the tank.
Yeah, like I literally just yank this and nothing moves because there's such a strong root system running throughout.
You can see the root system here just running through. It's just absolutely mad.
We went through a weird period, didn't we, where the fish started getting a little bit weird, didn't they? A little bit of
Yeah, we had like a mucus sort of fungal, not fungus at all, but like a mucus layer, wasn't it?
Yeah, and now they're absolutely perfect. It's almost like the hierarchy's settled or something, that there's no stress.
Yeah, that's it. It might have been dominance. They might have been going through a dominance thing, and one might have been taking charge or something like that. It's hard to know, but they all recovered.
They did. I want more, but not at the moment because there's not enough space.
Yep.
But the idea is to be doing a new rainbowfish tank soon. Yeah. And when I do that, I want to do sort of like an open swim style or like a structure of hardscape that stays narrow, like in the middle.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
And attached to that only. So then there's just a clean sand. They can just go everywhere.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. There's a lot of cories in here as well.
There is a lot of corridors in here. There's some Venezuelan oranges around here, and I've seen a skunk swim past.
Yes, there's several skunks, but they like to stay in that sage carpet.
Yeah.
And like go through it. When you feed, they obviously come out to the top. But yeah, massive big plant coming out the top, which was tiny when we first put it in, but that whole section there is one thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one ball of plant now.
It's not coming out. The only way that's coming out is if we just destroy the whole lot.
Yeah, you can't do it any other way. And you've got that thing as well, which I can't remember the name of, but
No.
yeah, that's growing really well as well.
I think someone called it a purple waffle plant or something in America.
So there's a name, there's something beginning with H that I think is the Latin name for it, but I can't remember it.
But that's the thing, when I do a new tank for the rainbows, I'm thinking just do it in this empty one, because I really don't want to break it down. But it needs something new. That's the point of the channel, isn't it? It's just, well...
I was right, Hemigraphis.
Okay.
I googled purple waffle, and it is that. Yeah, it is a purple waffle plant.
Yeah, cool.
Rich purple tinted foliage.
But yeah, great tank. Another easy one. Don't have to do anything to it, apart from feed the fish and enjoy it. And then next to the rainbow tank, we've got a grow out tank for our Malawi cichlids. Matt, you're the name king, please.
These are Malawis. No, you've got, so these are Frieri or icebergs. So they'll be a bright blue with a white top to them. So someone call them Arlies. There's loads of different common names for them. These guys are Borlei, or Kadango Redfin, I think is their other name.
The size of him.
Yeah, he's a chunk. And
He's the dominant, yeah?
Yeah, and he's just starting to get, just behind his gill plates, you can see a touch of orange. So that will turn almost like a reddy colour once he's older. Yep. So that will be a dominant male eventually.
Cool.
The female should stay a little bit duller in these colours. And then there is these little ones, which are Stevens Ilunicara.
Okay. We've had them now, again, about 2 months, 2.5 months.
Yeah, I reckon it's, 6 weeks maybe, something like that. I can't remember.
We're going to escape the tank. We weren't going to, but it won't hurt just to do some nice rocks and stuff in there.
Well, they're growing well now, so...
They are growing well. We know they're good. They feed well.
Yep.
And yeah, we've just got a load of floating plants in there at the moment. Just keep that water quality good. The only filtration actually is these little internals that we've got.
Yeah, just got a couple of internals running. It works perfectly.
It has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The water's nice and clear. It did go murky for a bit of green water, but we've got the UV sterilizer, but UV clarifier.
Yep.
And that's sorted that right out. But yeah, we're going to go for something quite rocky because that's what you go for. But not just yet. We'll do that in like a month's time, I reckon, or a couple of weeks' time, something like that.
I forgot we've got the nice Cynodontis in here as well, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
No, there's one in the rock, but they're here, look. They're around the filter. Look at them.
Nice. They're such a cool fish.
Yeah.
with that highlighting. It looks like they've been highlighted like for a thumbnail.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, the whole fish wall. This is just on autopilot. The whole thing is now, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had a bit of an algae outbreak in these two, weirdly, but that's just what it is.
Well, not algae.
No, cyanobacter, isn't it? Yeah, so.
But it was covered in cyano, fully green.
Yep.
And we were like, we didn't have time to sort it, so we were doing something else. So we thought, oh, we'll leave it. But now it's clearing up.
Yeah,
so
I think it's just burnt itself out. Whatever it was feeding on has burnt itself out.
Yeah, it's almost like you just don't want to touch it now. Just leave it, it's fixing it. I mean, more floating plants growing could have helped with light levels.
Yeah, I did add some more floaters in here. I had some of the... I did add some of the water lettuce in to give it a bit more of a boost, but yeah.
Seems to be working.
Let's
just leave it. Let's just leave it. I was going to do some stuff. I was going to take out all of the substrate and put a darker one in. I was going to add that clean stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a thing that kills.
Yep.
So I was going to add that, and I thought, no, just leave it because the fish seem okay. So
that's it. As long as it doesn't go fully like choke hold on everything, it's okay. It's one of those things that if it covered everything and the fish couldn't get anywhere, then I'd be cleaning it out. But because it's only a touch of it now, I think we're all right.
Yeah. Right. Let's go through the tanks then, Matt. We've got over here. We've got our keyhole cichlids.
Yep.
They are about the same size when we put them in, but
a little bit bigger, but not much.
Sort of more slow growing, these guys, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then next to them we've got a little group of harlequins.
Copper harlequins.
And a couple of gouramis as well.
Yeah, a couple of female honey gouramis I think there is in there.
These are the red chin panchaks, which are a type of killifish.
That's it, yeah.
So we did have other killifish in here, but sadly none of them survived. So there was obviously something going on there.
Yeah, a bit weird.
Yeah, but all the panchaks did, didn't they?
Yeah, the panchaks are doing really well. They've grown up.
They've grown up, haven't they? They're massive now.
When we had the puffers next to them, I'd feed the puffers mealworms, and these guys would be all up in this top corner trying to like get me to give them a mealworm that was essentially twice the size of them.
It needs a little trim, but that's easy to fix with these kind of stems I put in there. It's literally just... I'll do that later actually, because it's kind of taken over. Nothing in that one apart from a little bit of clean-up crew.
A little clean-up crew and some water violet.
Yep. Then moving down to this side, we've got our girls.
Yep.
Our female betters in this one. A group of tetra in here. We've got some scissors I can see.
Yeah, silver tips and glow lights.
Glow lights.
Yep.
Yep.
They were out of the big tetra tank. Got some Tanganyikans then. Got some sardine cichlids.
Yep. Oh, I can't. There we go.
Yeah.
So they're just in here as a grow out. Again, we've got all these as small babies.
That's it. And we've got some daffodil fairy cichlids.
Oh, look at that.
So they're a little bit more yellow than the normal fairies.
Oh, hang on. There we go. Look at that one. Look, looking beautiful.
And then some cylindricus in with them as well, which is the stripy dudes.
Yep. And then moving up to the top, we've got some white neons.
Or gold neons, white neons. I can't remember what they're called now.
Spare one, ready for if we want any more fish. There's a couple of rice fish, I think, in there.
There's a guppy and a rice fish. Yeah, I'm going to find a tank for them to go into at some point.
And then again, more tetra. Diamond?
Diamond neons, golds, and Januaries.
Yep. And then next to those, we've got some Acara.
Yeah.
Flag Acaras, aren't they?
Yeah, dwarf flag Acaras.
Yeah, they're nice. And then down below those is all of our shrimp.
Yep.
So we've got like reds over in this one. This tank always looks really cool. I don't know why I like this one so much.
There's that weird algae though, isn't there? There's that weird like mossy, I think that is moss ball growing off of the bulbitis.
The shrimp love it. I don't mind it at all in this tank. It's almost sort of perfect for the shrimp.
Well, it just gives them more space to forage, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's more bio stuff.
Yeah, biofilms and things, yeah.
And then this one's sort of like a mixed bag of just things and like more natural coloured ones, and they just go in that one. And this one is orange rillies.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of algae on the front glass on that one, so it's making it hard to sort of film. I don't think there's anything in that one, is there?
There was, but we took them out. I think it was the orange ones that are in the big red tank now, or the small red tank.
And then saying this one has got some oranges as well.
And I think it's blacks on the end.
Blacks, and there was blues.
Yeah, I think there was some blues as well.
It's hard to see because of the duckweed, but yeah, basically those are our storage tanks. All breeding tanks as well, I guess you could say. So yeah, there's a tour of our studio. Really long, so we're not going to have a long outro, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And it's a long video. You can't make a tour short, can you, when you've got this much stuff?
Not when you've got 30 tanks. No, you definitely can't.
Anyway, thanks for watching. See you again.